Hey everyone, this is Kathy the Vegan Prepper. Welcome to a day in my life. Vegan Prepper. Vegan Prepper. Alright, well, it's a busy day as they usually are. In fact, so busy I don't really have a lot of time to discuss with you exactly what the day entails. So we're just gonna have to go with it. But basically, so far today, I've woken up. I've had a little bit of time to myself. I've read and I've sort of looked into my day. I've looked at my calendar, gotten together all the things that I need to do for today for my meals and whatnot. I started a load of laundry and just basically sort of got everything started. But first on the docket for my day is my workout. So Sage just woke up and she's coming with me today because my workout buddy is bringing her daughter. So the two of them are going to have like a little play date while we were working out, which is really cute and fun. So we're going to make a smoothie for breakfast and head out pretty soon to go do that. So I'll see you guys. I might do some workout footage, but I don't know. I'll see you basically when I get back. Okay, we're all finished. I didn't get any exercise footage because my friend brought her daughter and it was hard to guarantee that I wasn't going to be getting somebody else's child in the video, and I don't want to film for YouTube without her permission, and I just didn't ask. It's fine. Yeah, sometimes I feel really good after a workout, but this one today kind of kicked my butt. So I'm like really not looking forward to all the things. But oh well, we carry on. So I'm gonna give myself a solid half hour at home to get as many of the things on my little list done as I can. And then I'm gonna go ahead and sit and rest for a bit. And oh yeah, I broke my favorite clip. So there's that. As I was expecting to get done in a half hour, but with setting up the camera and everything, it sort of took away some of the time, which is fine. But I am going to go ahead. I was going to rest, but it's actually time to make lunch now, so I need to go ahead and start lunch. And I didn't get either one of the meal prepping or meal planning tasks done today. I need to make a couple of convenience jars for sauce and a batch of Instant Pot potatoes. Excuse me, sorry if I just made you yawn. Excuse me. But anyway, I guess I can do that after lunch. I promised myself that today we would have a legit like tea time watching The Crown with Elliot. So I also was wanting to make a batch of homemade crackers, which I haven't done before, because Elliot really loves to have like crackers and cream cheese. And I have a batch of homemade cream cheese in the fridge from one of my books I have around here. It's not right here. It was the Vegan Cheeses book I got from the library. And I do already have a batch of that in the fridge ready to go. And it is delicious. So he would like to have that, I'm sure. But yeah, I guess that's sort of where we are. I'm going to go ahead and start lunch. For me, it's going to be salad wraps with leftover breakfast bites. I'm going to cut them in half, like across the middle, and just sort of cook them up in the pan to reheat them, and then turn them into the kind of the base of a salad wrap in some Ezekiel tortillas. Sage is going to have ramen. She wants tofu and noodles, and I don't know what Elliot's going to have. He'll either have the ramen or he'll have a salad wrap. It just sort of depends on what he feels like having. Almost certainly ramen. But yeah, so people have asked, what do I do for breakfasts and lunches? Because I show my meal plan and it's only for dinner. And it's basically because our breakfasts and our lunches are always kind of fast, grab and go type things, like the salad wraps using up leftover breakfast bites from another day. And the ramen, which we have on hand, you know, noodles to go into that, and tofu just to cut up. You don't have to do anything to that. You just cut it up and throw it in. So you don't have to worry about having like prepared beans for something like that. Breakfast can be oats. It can be, you know, smoothie. So stuff that's really fast. So I don't typically like plan for breakfasts and lunches. Typically breakfast is almost always the same. Oats and smoothies, and then like I already said, and then lunch will end up being just something quick or something that's using up something that's in the fridge, like the breakfast bites. So anyway, that's a lot of talking, and I guess yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go get started on all that. Like I said, that workout today, man, it wiped me out today, and I don't know what happened. Certain days like I feel super energized by my workout, but today it wiped me out, and I'm kind of just like not feeling it at all now for like the rest of the day, but I don't have the option to not be feeling it, so we got to keep moving. So anyway, all right. So I responded to a comment, and I told a subscriber that I would show her my kale plant in the comment in the next day in the life video. So this is for you. And this is my gorgeous solitary kale plant. It's only one, but it's got like 7 or 8 branches off of it. This is my favorite type of kale to grow. It's lacinato kale. This one is in its 2nd year. I thought that it was bolting, so I stopped harvesting and I started letting the leaves fall because they don't taste as good, you know, once it starts bolting. But I think that it was just putting off new towers. And this thing is just kind of ridiculous. So it probably will bolt soonish. But it already lived through one summer, and hopefully it will live through another summer. And absolutely, once it bolts, I'm saving those seeds, and all the kale I plant from now on will be this plant. I'm so excited. So yeah, I was looking again, and these look great. These don't look like they're bolting. They're just putting off fresh, beautiful leaves. And I'm so glad that your comment made me look at this thing again and realize, like I said, I don't think it's bolting. And it's great. It starts regrowing leaves too, like where they fall off. I don't know, I just love it. So I got to get back inside because my feet are killing me, because I was a doofus and I came out here barefoot, but also my phone is getting hot. It'll get really mad at me if I try to stay out here filming in the middle of the day for too long. So all right, there it is. There's my kale plant. It's pretty great. Any of you who have followed me for any length of time and you've seen some of my older Azure Standard hauls, you know that I almost always purchased the Dr. McDougall Right Foods ramen cups. Like, it was just something we were obsessed with. I no longer do that just because of the cost. Like, it's way cheaper to just make it ourselves. Obviously it's not quite as fast, but it actually is better because you get fully cooked noodles every time. And then basically with that, I always added tofu anyway. So we just sort of do a little bit of noodles and tofu. I really love that I can control like how many noodles I put in. So for Sage, I don't put very many noodles at all. For Elliot, he uses a lot more. We actually buy our noodles at the local Asian market or international market. And then I've also seen it at a local Korean grocery store. This brand, this is a different type of noodle, but it's the same brand. It's Wei Chuan. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. Almost certainly didn't, but that's the brand. This is what the packaging looks like. And so we buy the ramen style, which is what Sage is eating. And I just use like only a small amount of the bundle each time. And then Elliot has been digging into these. He really loves thick noodles. And so basically he uses one bundle at a time. If I'm remembering correctly, there's like 10 bundles in here, and it's something like maybe $4, $3.99, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. It's been a little while since I bought them, but we just buy them by packs now, and you get all those for much less money than buying instant, and then they don't take very long to cook at all. Combined with these little broth cubes, and now let me go, I guess, show you our favorite broth cubes. Here they are, the not chicken broth cubes from Edward and Sons. I buy these in bulk on Amazon at this point. I don't know if it really saves that much money. It's just handy to be able to get, like, I think you get 12 of them in one box when you do it like this. And then I don't have to keep going to the store. But there's 8 bouillon cubes, and we end up using half a cube per ramen bowl cup thing. Anyway, so that's just one of the really fast meals that we make. It might not be the most nutritious thing on earth, but you know, smoothies for breakfast. There's a lot of veggies happening, kind of behind the scenes. But yeah, I think it's great, and the kids love it. And yeah, so anyway, I don't buy the instant ramen cups anymore. That is now basically how we do our ramen in the house. Oh, and as another little thing, I am slightly obsessed with clay cookware and wooden utensils. I think it's come up on the channel before. A lot of my stuff I actually find used, although I don't purchase used wooden utensils. But this was a new thing. I think it was Elliot, I know for sure, who gave this to me. I think it was for Mother's Day of last year or something. And it is a Korean pot, and I apologize, I don't know what the name of the pot is, but it is used to cook a traditional Korean dish. I just use it sort of as a cook pot. I love it. The versatility is fantastic. I just basically, you can cook with this directly on the stove. So I boiled the noodles and everything in this pot. And then I also make the soup in the pot so that I'm not using multiple dishes. And so it's for cooking and for eating in one pot. And that is almost always when I make Sage's ramen. This is how I do it. And then it just sort of saves a little bit on cleanup. And I don't know, I just really, really love it. I guess technically we could just eat out of another kind of pot, but I don't know, it's not as nice. So before I go give this to her, or not give it to her, I'm gonna feed this to her, I will slip an oven mitt just underneath it. And then it's already cool to the touch. Like I can touch it without hurting myself. But the bottom remains hot for a while. And then also here are my breakfast bites toasted up in the pan. And I'm going to go ahead and break those up, like I said, and turn those into salad wraps. Actually, no salad wraps. Looks like somebody used up the last of the Ezekiel tortillas without putting any new ones, like from the freezer into the fridge. So I have no thawed out Ezekiel wraps now. So once I control my rage, no, I'm kidding. Yeah, I know I'm trying to because I had that workout, I was really counting on having those tortillas because each one is 7 grams of protein. I wanted the extra protein. And I wanted just that extra nutrition without it having to be too complicated for myself. Because basically, when I do it, what I basically do is just greens, something, you know. So today it's the little breakfast bites, kind of refried. They're just cooked in my nonstick pan with no oil. And then some sort of sauce, like barbecue or something just on top. And then boom, like I have a super nutritious meal that was not very difficult at all. So now I'm trying to figure out what on earth am I gonna eat? Okay, not too bad. It isn't going to be the nutrition powerhouse that it would be if it had the Ezekiel tortillas, but here we go. I'm just basically making myself like tacos with the breakfast bites as the base and some greens and some salsa. And then there's a little smear of guac in each one, just to try to get a little bit of extra calories in me. I definitely feel like I need a heavier meal after I work out, but not like right after. It's like a while after. So this will keep me from eating too much like later in the afternoon. I'm probably gonna have another entire plate like this because I only used 3 of the bite halves. So anyway, all right, time to actually sit and eat. Sage just told me, Mom, I'm hungry. It's like, yeah, I know, me too. But I didn't have tortillas, so no. All right, so I just got these. I ordered them from Amazon for oatmeals and also for convenience jar type things, smaller containers. This is the thing. Pretty much all of my small jars are now taken up with canned stuff. They're canned. That's the size I use for my cowboy candy. It's jams, it's relishes. It's just, anyway, all of my small jars are like full right now, and I don't want to purchase more small jars, which I'm gonna feel like I want to save for canning. Even though, as much as I don't do a lot of canning, it seems like most of what I do ends up needing like the 8-ounce jars, which is a lot of times what I need for my convenience jars for some of the smaller things, and like oatmeal packets. So these are 8 ounces, and the plastic ones that I bought for the spices worked out so well that I figured I would just get these. And so that's what I got. Also, this is a 50 pack and it was like $15 versus, you know, how many I would be able to get for the same price. And I know a lot of you out there too, I'll switch you around, would say use jars of the things that you buy in the store. But the truth is that like we actually buy very few items anymore that come in like small jars. But also because I don't want to torture myself with, torture is a strong word, I admit, but you know, having to hand wash the lids of those like store-bought jars, and even the canning lids you have to hand wash unless you're using the plastic ones. So this is just easy. Both pieces can just get tossed in the dishwasher, and so I'm trying to streamline at least some things and make them a little easier on myself. Not necessarily everything has to be 100% handmade, hand done, hand this, hand that. So anyway, yeah, here we go. So this is going to be our homemade oatmeal packets, like I said, and convenience jars. And now it is time to show video of Sage's freshly painted toes, because suddenly it became time to do a pedicure. And so we use piggy paint. It's vegan and non-toxic and all of that. So it honestly is not, you know, the thing, it doesn't last the longest. But you know, it's nice for little kids to have some pretty safe nail polish. All right, I am about to complete my next task, which is to make my sauce jars. Only, instead of making only 2, I am going to actually make 10. I'm going to, since I've got stuff out anyway, I'm going to go ahead and cover myself for the next entire month. I obviously haven't written in our meal plans as of yet, but knowing, as I know, that Tuesday is always baked pasta day and Friday is always pizza night, I use a thing of sauce on Friday, and I almost always use a thing of sauce on Tuesday. Now, sometimes I'll use a different kind of sauce, like maybe a cashew Alfredo type sauce or something for our pasta, but for the most part, we're pretty basic and we just use this same sauce recipe over and over and over again. I am realizing now, though, like looking at this, that means that we end up having a meal with that sauce in it like twice a week. So I might need to go ahead and modify Tuesday a bit to maybe not always be a pasta dish. I shared in my latest, or not my latest, the first actually, meal planning video, though, that this week we're not doing pasta, we're doing potatoes in marinara, because every meal this week except for pizza night is using up potatoes because I have a lot of potatoes to use up. So that's really easy for our family. We are vegan, obviously, but we try as hard as we can to be pretty clean, whole foods, plant-based, and we tend to eat kind of more along the Dr. McDougall style, just because it's easier, especially with like younger kids, especially younger men in the house, and also my husband, who is an athlete, to be able to have some of like the higher calorie plant foods on hand for them. But yeah, I washed 10 of my new containers that I just showed you guys. And so those are here, and I'm getting ready to, just like I had my phone plugged in, I'm getting ready to make convenience jars, but now it's going to be these of my sauce. I'm using larger containers this time because now almost every time I make this sauce, especially for pizza night, I include TVP in the sauce for extra protein. And so that's going to go in as well. So I need a larger container than the last time I made convenience jars of sauces, in case you watched my convenience jar video and you saw me using much smaller jars. Because the solids for the pasta sauce, apart from the TVP, only need like a little 4-ounce jar. But I'm using a larger container because of that. So anyway, as I said, this is getting way too long. I'm going to go ahead and just make 10 because that will cover me for the rest of the month. So I've got these 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then that will cover me for all of July for sauces. And then we'll see, going into August, I might not end up using all of these, in which case that's fine. But I imagine we'll use them pretty quickly. I normally would not, grind flax and then leave it out at room temperature ground for very long, but this is not very long. So they'll get used up pretty fast, and I haven't ever had any issues with it before. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and get on this and stop talking about it. All right, here they all are before I go ahead and get the lids on, and that seriously took about 10 minutes. It's so fast, and then when you go to actually make your stuff, it's so much easier doing it like this. But here's a shot of the original recipe. I also have a video on the channel, the omega-3 pasta sauce, but I will say that I have updated it since. And so I actually, because these are dry, I used, actually what happened was, one time, I can't remember who it was, if it was my husband or one of the kids, they messed up. I told them to use coconut sugar instead of maple or agave. They actually misread it, and they put 2 tablespoons of coconut sugar instead. And that sauce turned out like the best sauce ever. The original is still really good, so if you'd really rather not have sugar, but I don't know, coconut sugar has a lower glycemic index, and it was like so ridiculously good. And this is a sauce, it gets spread out like over a whole dish. It's not like, so we're talking between like 20 and 30 grams of sugar, I guess, for the entire recipe. So it's not like it's, you're putting 2 tablespoons of coconut sugar on your plate. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so if that is a concern, leave it the way that it was. But that's how I made all of these, is with 2 tablespoons of coconut sugar, because it's just insanely good. The other change that I make is to use only 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed, or 1/8 cup, because I've mentioned many times before, I don't know what's up with my flax lately, but it's gelling so much. When I originally formulated this recipe years and years ago, actually that's my younger son's very young handwriting. Isn't it like so cute? I love this. When I formulated the recipe years and years ago, I was using ground flax from the store because I wasn't grinding my own flax yet. And I guess over time and with grinding my own flax, I don't know, it's like it's more potent or something. It gels too much. I was noticing for a long time I was adding extra water to make it thin. And then it just occurred to me, I should probably try using a little less flax maybe. And I did. And sure enough, that ended up fixing the problem. So for this though, the other addition or change, so if you were making just this, you could put it into a like a 4-ounce jelly jar and you would be set. But the reason I needed a larger container is because the bottom of it is, it's not gonna show everything. It's too bright outside. The bottom of it is 1/2 cup of the organic textured vegetable protein. And so with 1/2 cup in there, obviously I need a larger container. And so in order to actually make this recipe with the TVP, you would simply use 2 cups of water instead of 1.5. And then otherwise it's the same. So you just add another 1/2 cup of water for that 1/2 cup of TVP and it's perfect. I really love having it too, because like I've said, mostly plant-based vegan family, we don't do a lot of the fake meats. Although sometimes, it'll creep in every now and then for like a, I don't know, 4th of July, we'll have our fake hot dogs or something like that. But for the most part, it's just not in our lives. And so for pizzas, especially, our pizzas tend to be really like plain, or like they'll have veggies and like pineapple. And so while I'm not paranoid about protein, I do still understand that it's important. So I like having the protein, like a protein source, the TVP is just in the sauce, like on the bottom of the pizza. And I'm not having to worry so much about topping it with stuff. So anyway, also it just is delicious. It has that yummy ground meat texture, the chew, which is a pleasant texture. And so also, obviously, if you just don't want to use the TVP, or you don't have access to it, or it's too expensive, or whatever, that's also obviously not required. We've had plenty of pizzas where we did tofu cubes or tempeh. Tempeh sliced up thin and marinated for a little while in a combination of coconut aminos and balsamic vinegar. It is delicious. And there's like little squares of tempeh on top of the pizza. It's absolutely delicious. And so we've done that as well. That's also actually really good on salads. As an FYI, that's actually one of our favorite things, is tempeh marinated in it. It's about half and half, I think, coconut aminos and balsamic vinegar. And it's just delicious. You can use beans, especially like in a pasta dish. For the longest time, I just did beans. Lentils, black beans are typically what we would end up using. Canned lentils, black beans are what we would end up using. And it's delicious and we love it. But yeah, I really do love the TVP in these recipes. So we have sort of started doing that. But if I ever run out, or I can't have it, or, frugality, like extreme frugality dictates that I shouldn't be using the TVP, because it isn't like cheap. It's not like, exorbitantly, like prohibitively expensive, but it is a pricier ingredient. Last I looked, because I was just looking before I started talking about it, it's $20 for 1.5 pounds on Amazon right now, the one that I get. And I wish I had a source for it in bulk, but I can't find one of a source for an organic TVP in bulk. But it's, I don't know, still I think a really great thing, because like one bag is a little, barely, of a 1.5 pound of TVP is like barely too much to fit into the 1 gallon jar. So you're getting a little over a gallon. So it's like making all of this, I used 10 cups. So it was like 1/2 cup not 10 cups, 5 cups, because it's 10 things for 1/2 cup. And so that was, sorry, I'm doing math on camera and I promised myself I would not do that. That is about 1/3 of the bag, maybe. It's like less than 1/3 of the bag. And so the original price, I believe, was $17. So it's maybe $6 worth of TVP in I'm doing very rough, fast math, so if it's wrong, I'm sorry. But maybe roughly $6 worth of TVP in 10 meals worth of sauces, like prep. So this is sauce for like 10 meals, and it's about $6 worth of TVP. So if you add the tomato paste in there, and the various other ingredients, you're probably looking at, I don't know, because it's not even $1 for my tomato paste. I get really inexpensive tomato paste at Costco. I pay $6.99 for 12 cans. And so it's just, for the sake of easy math, it's about 50 cents per tomato paste. And so that's like $6.50, I guess, or not $6.50, sorry. I'm trying to figure it out. Regardless, it's probably what, like 12-ish, let's say $12, I think, is a generous estimate of 10 meals worth of spaghetti sauce for either pastas or pizzas or whatever. So obviously, if you leave the TVP out and use beans instead, it's just a ridiculously frugal way to do this, especially for this sauce itself. If you're not purchasing a prepared sauce and you make it yourself from tomato paste, especially if you purchase your tomato paste inexpensively like I do, then yeah, it's ridiculously frugal. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get lids on these and then go get started on our dinner for tonight, which doesn't include any of this. This is all prep for future meals. This is my gift to my future self. Mwah. A lot of times I'm not really very nice to her, but right now I'm being very nice. Okay, so there's my entire month's worth of our pasta sauces. And to make these now, all I have to do is grab one of these, grab a tomato paste can, and then put that in a pan, add 2 cups of water, whisk it up, let it heat through, and boom, we've got our sauce. And it's so fast and so easy, and it just makes things so nice. And so anyway, yeah, there you go. All right, here's a quick tip for working from recipes online, and this works actually even on your phone. So you go to your recipe link, and for this one, it's a brand new recipe I'm trying. So I'm gonna go here, and I have my link here. And then as usual, there's, a million recipes that pop, or a million ads that pop up if you try to find it. Even if you go to jump to recipe, you're gonna be inundated with stuff popping on your screen and whatnot. So actually what you can do to avoid that is to go to print recipe. And boom, you have yourself an ad-free page for cooking from. And so, like I said, this actually also works on your phone. I just can't really show you on my phone because I'm filming on my phone, but that's what I did. And I have it up on my phone now. And it's just, yeah, it's so wonderful to not have to be fighting ads the whole time to get your recipe. So I just thought I would share that little tip. So everything's in the Instant Pot. It's funny, I was thinking like in some magical fairyland that I was going to make crackers, like homemade crackers to go with this soup. And back in the day, when my kids were in school and I only had 2, and I had Thad and Elliot, they were both gone all day and I was home alone, that is the kind of behavior that I used to exhibit. Now it's like, I don't know, I don't want to use the word lazy, and it cracks me up because I see other women do this as well. they call themselves lazy for not doing something. And then I'm like watching like what they're doing like on YouTube or whatever. And it's like, my goodness, girl, sis, someone needs to tell you, you are not lazy. You're doing so much. Deciding not to do something in this instance, or deciding to do something to like make something easier on yourself, is not lazy. It's called productivity, efficiency, right? It's like survival skills. You literally cannot do everything. And so I don't know, like, so I try really hard to talk to myself the way I talk to, or I would talk to another person, but I don't. So I actually have gotten comments many times where people say, I don't know how you get everything done that you do. And the truth is, I always feel like I never get anything done. I feel, and it's moments like this, what I'm sharing with you right now, and that's kind of the point of what I'm sharing with you right now. And I'm sharing it because I caught myself, because I decided to start calling myself on my own garbage, because I create stress and feelings of inadequacy in myself over stuff like this, where I decided, because I am now tired, it's almost 7 and I only just got dinner started after a very full, very busy day. Not even all of it was filmed, and I was filming a lot of it too. I decided that making a batch of homemade crackers to go with the soup tonight was just maybe a little much, you know? It's just a bit much for today. And these are the moments where I'm going to feel like a failure for this whole day, because I was kind of planning on doing that and I decided not to do it. And so, yeah, that's unreasonable. I'm like having to try to like tell myself that. I don't know if you do the same kind of thing. Like, do you essentially feel like a failure, or like you didn't accomplish anything because of, you know, something like that? Like, you thought you wanted to do something you didn't get to, or you decided not to, and now your whole day was a failure because you didn't do like 1 or 2 things or something, when you're the one that made your list too long in the first place. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, anyway, sorry. I don't know if anybody else deals with that kind of stuff, but I'm trying really hard to manage those feelings in myself. And like I said, I caught myself feeling like, oh, I suck so bad because I didn't make homemade crackers for soup. Anyway, all right. Wow, this looks really good. So I am excited about that. All right, we're gonna go ahead and dish this up without the homemade crackers. Oh, failure.